Jacob, this is the Global Digest. I don't know about BIED. Can you explain about your activity and your organization to our audience? Please, Jacob.
Yeah, the BIED, it's a think tank, and basically we have um I want to say we have over 13 policy centers. We're now just developing a space policy. So that's new to the BIED. And yeah, it's been around for a couple years, and we do conferences about 3 to 4 times a year in DC on various issues. Um, I had a paper published with them back in 2023, yeah, last spring on Yemen. And so I was a Middle Eastern specialist with them, and then I moved over to the Asia Pacific policy center of theirs. And it's a great group of people. They really help out, and the leadership is specialized in numerous things, so they know their stuff. Um, you know, reach out to some of the directors, or they can reach out to me, and I can get them in contact with who may be able to help them and direct them in the place that they want to go if they want to get involved.
It's good. I hope so. And you are still with them, right? BIED.
Yes. Our next conference is in April, so no, not April, May. So I'll be going to that. But it's just a part-time thing for me.
So what BIED mainly focus, it's about foreign policy or military issue or internal your American politics or party politics or what is your, it's
Um,
specialized. I mean, there are many things.
yeah, there's a policy center for um there's many policy centers with them. There
Right.
is a nuclear policy center, there's Middle East, Asia Pacific, Africa, a South American policy center, um, the space policy now. Um, so I mean, there are multiple, policy centers, within the BIED, and I just so happen to be in the um Asia Pacific.
It is
The
more about academic. You are doing more related to academic things.
Yeah, I mean they're affiliated with the Washington Center, so a lot of students get internships there, and then we also have fellows who are also at the BIED Society. So I mean they're part of the Washington Center, and the Washington Center helps students and you know undergrads and grads find internships and fellowships. So I am finishing up my degree in comparative politics, and then I will be hopefully going to law school next spring.
I mean, that's sometimes seeing and thinking is sometimes always different.
Oh no, I completely no, I understand. But I mean, with open source intelligence, you can get a good sense of what's going on um, over in certain countries. So I mean, we do have that. I mean, on the ground is always better, but with open source intelligence now, I mean, sky's the limit with that. I mean, you could get very good information and intelligence, by not even, stepping foot, inside of a country. I mean,
Right,
there's, multiple,
right.
multiple avenues on getting good information, in a particular region or, country.
A few months ago, I've been talking with one of American military historian, but she is not from BIED, and we talk about Asia Pacific and American geopolitics in Asia Pacific role. So, so far, how's your BIED policy on Asia Pacific? Can you able to elaborate your BIED policy? How's BIED is analyzing on American policy?
We're nonpartisan, so we don't take either side. We just basically give the facts and particular recommendation with policy papers. I mean, that's about it. We don't take sides and anything. Here are the facts, and that's that. There's no bias in BIED. We don't take political sides. We just here are the facts, and we we do what we need to do with the facts. There's no bias in BIED. That's non-productive. It's just gonna cause issues down the line, having taking part in one side and eliminating the other. So we just slashed all that and just decided to be, we're just nonpartisan. We don't take sides.
So most American young people and yourself, mostly they see uh, American is closer with Europe or American is more closer to Asia Pacific region. I mean, which is more uh, related or more important, like especially young people in America.
Young people in America we tend to care. I shouldn't say all of young Americans, but the ones that I have come across, in most cases, just want to worry about, domestic politics, trying to fix, internal issues, here. That's um, that's what, a lot of American, young Americans, are concerned about, protecting rights and creating new laws that will, protect and better, um, the generations ahead, in America, rather than, worrying about, foreign policy, and international politics. It's mostly, they're they're concerned about, what's going on domestically. And that should be, you know, everyone's focus, human rights, within your own country, and, trying to make your country better. So, you know, that's that's where the direction is heading with, um, you know, young Americans.
So it means the young people are they are thinking the American is busy enough in domestic issue. So most young people may not pay attention or unable to pay attention international politics in different region conflict.
I mean,
Just
we
like it.
have all the sources over here, see what's going on internationally. I mean,
Right.
we have plenty of resources. There's TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, the list can go on, including, just news stations. But I mean, there are some things that, Americans, care about, internationally, like the Israel-Palestine conflict. That's been one that's caused, some protests on college campuses and, in certain cities such as New York. Um, so I mean, it's not that young Americans don't have the resources to look into international politics. It's just that in most cases, we just tend to, well, the younger generation tends to, care about, domestic issues. But human rights is, something that they still care about worldwide, as, we have seen with protests, in the United States.
Recently, what are the main concern in America? What protests have been in America recently, and what issue?
In domestic issues, probably the biggest one would be police reform. I don't know if you've heard
Police?
of, yeah, police
Why?
reform.
Is something wrong with police?
Nothing. I mean, police corruption, police brutality.
I see. I
It's
see.
really hit off during the pandemic with George Floyd, who
Right. Right.
was murdered in Minnesota. So that really kicked off. That was like the icing on the cake to just have this immense um these immense protests for police reform, and to end policing in some cities, and defunding the police. So that's probably been one of the biggest ones, one of the biggest issues. The other one is um trying to make you know colleges free or near free. That was a big protest and a
I
big
see.
issue, and still is a big issue, because college tuition prices, have risen over the years. I hear older generations, who went to college say that, they were
Right.
able to pay and afford to go to Harvard by working just at McDonald's. Can't do that now. Harvard's, $60,000-$70,000 a year. You can't do that. So,
Right.
that's been another, big issue here in the US. Um,
Right.
those are probably the biggest two that come to, my domestic issues and, domestic protests.
I see. I mean, related to police issue, I agree. Uh, your concern in America, it's not only in America, even in Asia and many countries, police has many issue by a lot of people. They worry about police behavior, police action beyond their. I mean, they are doing beyond their police responsibility, or they are not doing well about their police duty. A lot of police can abuse the authority, the power, instead of uh, domestic uh, problem solving. They can unnecessary. Sometimes they can make problem, or as you mentioned, there are a lot of issue in America, in Asia, in many countries. So how do you see the police are more violent or abusive, or they are more discriminative, or how in America, so far, how do you see?
Um, I mean, there's bad apples in every profession. I mean, it doesn't matter what profession you're in, you're gonna find bad apples. I mean, the problem with what's going on now is that when one cop does something, against protocol and against just basic human rights, the victim dies, or the victim is severely injured, or their constitutional rights are violated, it makes
Right,
the rest of the police force and even police forces outside of that county or that state just look as if every cop is bad. So I mean, you know, there's there's good cops and there's bad cops. There's
of course,
there's good teachers and there's bad teachers. So it's just when one person messes up, it just ruins. They lose credibility.
they,
The whole police department does. And that's the problem. If if
right,
one cop does something bad, all of them are, quote unquote pigs, and things like that. So, that's the problem. But, people need to realize, that there's bad apples in every profession, and they the bad apples need to be held accountable, for their you know,
in
mistakes, issues, and violations that they've done against people or against their own code of conduct within the county or city that they
in
police in.
in Asia also same, many police, arbitrary arrest without properly explaining reason, or even they did not explain at all the reason of arrest. So they did have arbitrary arrest a lot in Asian countries, and also they sometimes they make wrong statement, and as you mentioned, they are not following constitution at, at most case, so the police,
Right,
the prosecutor, the court, if they don't follow constitution, it will be damn for the country, so who will be followed?
right,
They are the main to lead the country. They should guide the country. They should be respectable in the country. The judges are the most respectable in the country, but they don't respect constitution. If they don't follow the constitution, who will respect? There are no more to respect in the country. So
right.
it's happened in Asia too, as you said, in America.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just one thing, and it's just with, same thing with, the military. I mean, any military, if they, one person does something bad, and that's considered, a war crime, or anything that will make soldiers look less respectable. People just associate the whole military, you know, um, bad. So it's just, it, it- there's bad apples in, every profession, you know, military, teachers, police. I mean, you could go in any profession, you'll find someone who shouldn't be in the occupation that they are in. It's
Right.
just the way it is.
But in case of U.S., I see you are more Republican countries. If the judge, police, prosecutor, if they wrong something, you can easily, is an alternative or there's a solution. You can rectify easier compared to Asia, because Asian, if you see a lot of countries, authoritarian country, are not at all possible to correct them or to change or to, uh, punish or action. Many authoritarian countries, even democratic countries, so some, those judges, prosecutor, police can still, they are, free. They can do a lot of, such kind of wrong things. It still happen. So I mean, you are easier to change those those in power, right? In America.
There, yeah, I mean, there's a process, and obviously to get a elected official out of office. It's not it's not an easy process. But I mean,
Not
it can
easy.
it can certainly be it can certainly be done. I do believe that the director of Homeland Security was just impeached by Congress, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, it can be done. If they're not doing their job, or they're not doing their job, efficiently, or if they made a crucial mistake to, national security, or, a domestic policy, domestic issue, they can, you can easily, be held accountable. But, trying to, you know, remove them from office, that's a lengthy legal battle that, requires, evidence, and, lots of taxpayers' dollars and everything like that, to, just to see if it's going to happen or not.
Maybe the president is the most powerful person, right, to change or to remove any corrupt police, judges, or prosecutor.
Once again, impeachment has to go through, Congress,
Right,
and everything like that. I mean, uh, we've seen it with, um, Donald Trump. He was still, you know, in office, and, until he lost the 2020 election. So I mean, it's hard to impeach and remove a president. I think there's only been one or two presidents that's been, impeached or removed from office, if I'm not mistaken, from, United States, president history. And they were some early presidents. I mean, there was Nixon, but if I'm not mistaken, he resigned before he was found guilty of wiretapping. But other than that, there was one or two presidents in the early days where, they were impeached and or
right.
removed from office. So it's still hard. I mean, they're not untouchable. It's
Do
just
you do you
one of those.
see most American young people? Do you feel your president candidate want to be uh, re-elected for next election too old, or is there no alternative or no option about your future presidents in America?
Um, I mean, right now, uh, there's not, there's not many, many candidates. I mean, if it's hard, because the past couple of elections here, people have just been choosing basically the lesser of two evils, regardless, on their political affiliation. So I mean, we're not doomed,
Are
with
you okay with 80 years old or 75-year old something in president office for a long time, for another 5 years?
um
American, are you okay? American young people are okay for that?
it- America is split. I mean, a lot of Americans want to see, Trump or Republican, be back in office. Another half wants to see Biden in office, and then I should say like a third wants to see, Republican or Trump in office. A third wants to see Biden or another Democrat in office, and then, I mean,
Age is
there's,
no problem. It's
just,
age is no problem.
yeah, I mean, the country's just split so many ways. Some want Republican, some want Democrat, some just, want, an independent, independent party, like a libertarian, to um, be in office. I mean, there's not many candidates left on the Republican side. Most have been dropping. The only Democratic candidate is, Joe Biden. So I mean,
Right.
there's
So
not many options.
it is same. American has no choice. You have to have it, the Joe Biden and Trump, either one. You people have no
Yeah,
choice.
I mean, yeah, this election, but with the way that um Trump's trials are going, I don't even know, if he will be able to be elected. I mean, in in theory, if he does become, if he is jailed, there is no law in America that states he still can't run for president. Worst case scenario, if he becomes jailed, if he, is found guilty and, he's charged and, he's sentenced to some term in jail, over
Who
all
know?
these
Who know
allegations
if
and things like that.
American people vote him, if he become elected, what we can do?
If he becomes elected, you know, there's avenues where, he can, become removed, but, like I said, it's hard to do. And
No,
it's just a lot of, it takes time, effort, a special counsel, taxpayers' dollars going towards it. And, it's just, it's lengthy. Donald
Trump
Trump.
is Trump is still popular. Many Americans like him. Many Americans favor him. They support him. He's still popular. So who knows? He might not elected.
Yeah, it's a toss up right now. We'll just have to see, what happens here in the primaries and then the national election here, this
Right,
coming November, and go from
right.
there.
I wish, as you said, young Americans should get uh, better education and more easy to get a college degree university degree. I, as you point out, and last time I talked with one of professor, most universities are doing marketing. They are not providing intellectual. So that may be the thing, as you may see. As you said, Harvard is in that same thing. They are doing more marketing or no
Um,
nowadays. Nowadays.
it depends.
But
I
it's
wouldn't
still
say it's
popular, you
all
know. Harvard is still popular, I
say
guess.
I wouldn't say it's marketing. But a lot of the degrees, you can, read up on, online. With the advancements, in technology and, all the information that, you can just gather from a library or internet, anywhere, you can gain a lot of knowledge that you can't, that you'll be spending money on, at a 4-year university or 2-year university, being thousands of dollars in debt. A lot of
University made
I was just
a lot of money, you know. University made
yeah.
a lot of
I
money.
mean, I was talking to um a buddy of mine, and his father had a company before, he sold it, and he helped, run it and, worked with it. And he had a biology degree, and it was, kind of like a manufacturing and engineering, degree. He just learned by just working there. I mean, there's trades, becoming an electrician and, things like that. It's, those are great avenues to go down, and people are starting to realize that, getting a trade, you're making a lot more money at a younger age. You're not piling on massive amounts of debt, and, these jobs are in demand. Electrician, plumber, welding, uh, you know, all that. You can make.
So, so most young people want to get scholarship or student loan or to finish university and college.
Kids want, like, job security. I've seen, some degrees are just, in my opinion, not worth it. Like, there's just some degrees out there, that's just, you look at the job market and it's like, you know, it's not a good, outlook.